All right, and welcome back to the forecast card. With college basketball ending very soon, I decided to kind of dip into NBA a little bit. In terms of like manual handicapping, I haven't had a lot of success in NBA, but I have had a lot of success modeling NBA, as long as there's not any last minute injuries or whatever. So I'm kind of just going to go through my model output for each of these games, kind of give you an idea of why the model likes what it likes. And whatever the model's most confident every day will be the lock. So I've kind of adjusted the model a little bit today just so it's a bit easier to kind of break down for myself YouTube wise and to make kind of minor adjustments to do a little bit of manual handicapping on top of the model. But yeah, let's see how it goes. I don't necessarily suggest tailing immediately. Kind of just watch these videos, maybe get a few trends or insights that you hadn't maybe thought of. And we'll see how this new model does over the next few days. Yeah, let's go through each of the games for NBA tomorrow. All right, heading on to game number one, we have Orlando at Charlotte. For all intents and purposes, it looks like Charlotte's going to be a pretty healthy team here. Looks like LaMelo, Josh Green, Miles Bridges, Mark Williams are all looking or projected to play. Obviously, who fucking knows? But yeah, let's hope that they do play. Orlando, obviously in a must-win situation, trying to get back into that playoff race after kind of plummeting with other injuries. But they're kind of, Suggs is out long-term. Cole Anthony's not playing. Moritz Wagner's out. He's obviously been out for a long time. They're still, getting kind of to locking back in after a bit of a slow start after their injuries. But I don't know. On a back-to-back here, this Orlando team historically hasn't been that great on the road. They have a negative rating when hitting on the road compared to a Charlotte team that plays really good at home. 5.5 point home rating. They play significantly better in front of their home crowd. Now we're getting them off of 2 road losses coming home. I think they can keep it within this number. The model has Hornets almost favored. This is just +1. Obviously, there's a huge momentum factor for Orlando. But them being on a back-to-back, if you look at them historically, they've had 4 back-to-backs this year with a negative 13.3 adjustment in net efficiency. So they definitely do play significantly worse on the second leg of a back-to-back. And that's not necessarily a great thing here, especially considering Hornets are going to be well-rested and back at home. So obviously, Orlando, the way better team, has all the momentum playing really, really well lately, but Hornets are looking healthier than ever, now playing an Orlando team that's going to be a bit tired. This is the model's favorite game, so we'll see how it does. Hornets +5.5 in game number 1. Heading on to game number 2, we have San Antonio at Detroit. Now, in terms of pure raw data on how teams are expected to perform, that's all kind of baked into the model. So I'm not really going to talk too much into it. That's kind of what you'd assume is like a baseline spread, and then kind of just giving you a kind of a lean on what's shifting the line. Game number 2, we have San Antonio versus Detroit. Now Detroit, for some reason, one of the worst home teams. I have this as a -3 spread. Again, this one's kind of tough to adjust. They are dealing with 2 teams going in different directions, but model tends to really like what they're seeing here with the Spurs on the road. Detroit, for some reason, one of the worst teams in college basketball at home. If you look at their home advantage this year, they're -5.3. They rarely cover, if at all, when playing at home. 7-4 when they play elite teams, they cover, but once they have to play bad teams, they've really been struggling. On the other side, San Antonio, not necessarily a bad road team. They get a little bit worse, but not significantly. Now, obviously, Detroit been playing really, really good basketball lately. I think anyone with eyes can see that. But, again, this is a San Antonio team that's kind of playing really good lately. Obviously, they haven't beat any elite teams, but over their last 5 games, they beat 4-1. Obviously, again, they played Philadelphia, Toronto, New Orleans, and they had a loss to the Lakers on the road. This is going to be their second leg of a road trip, so they're not going to be necessarily in a big travel spot. Detroit just had a really big win over at home. Maybe a win where they should have probably covered, but they gave up 130 points to the Pelicans. 123 to Dallas, 113 to Miami. They had a good game against New Orleans where they put up 81. But defensively, they've been kind of looking a little shaky, especially at home where they tend to just play worse ball. Spurs kind of just stick around for like 45% of the game and then kind of just fall apart at the end. But Model has Detroit only winning this game by 3. Again, matchup-wise, if you look at the pure model, the model has it at -7, not considering any other factors. But in terms of how these two teams play, away versus home, Orlando or Detroit again starting to pick it up, but still they're a very inconsistent team. So Detroit could either win this game by 20 or win it by 1 or even lose outright. So give me Spurs plus 9.5 in that game. Number 3, model is not really convinced on either side. Model has Warriors -6. This would be a no bet spot for me. It also has the total at 219. Also be a no bet side for me. Not really exactly sure what you're getting without Curry for most of these games. Obviously, Miami's also a bit of a hit or miss team since losing Jimmy Butler. Heroes kind of had to step up as kind of the lead primary option, but Golden State, they're still looking decent. I think Jimmy's going to want to get a little bit of revenge here against their previous team, especially without Curry. I think he's going to have a massive game. And I think the Warriors end up winning this game against a Heat team that hasn't necessarily been playing the best basketball lately. If you look at their most recent games over the most recent stretch, let me pull that up. Yeah, up until their most recent win over Charlotte, they had lost like 10 games in a row. The Warriors have been looking really good. They're coming off a rough loss to Atlanta a few days ago, but they're going to be well rested for this game. 2 full days of rest. I think they're going to lock back in after dropping 2 of their last 4. I think they want to keep that momentum going. Miami basically not making the playoffs at this point. Pretty pathetic stretch. Maybe they got a bit of confidence here in their win against Charlotte, but I'm not necessarily too confident in them. So give me the Warriors and Jimmy Butler to beat the Miami by more than 4.5 points. Again, very slightly, and no bet for me. Heading out to game number 5, we have 4. We have Dallas versus New York. Model has this at a 9.5 point win for New York with the spread sitting at -9. No bet. It would be a lean, but definitely no bet. But the total I really like here. Dallas on the second end of back-to-backs are like 10-1 to the over. As road dogs, they're like something crazy to the over. New York as home favorites are massive to the over. It just seems like Dallas's offense continues to be really good on back-to-backs, but their defense completely takes a massive hit. Now that they have AD back, who knows if he's even going to play this game. I don't know if he's going to play back-to-backs coming off an injury. Probably not. So you're probably not going to have the defensive prowess of AD blocking up the paint for someone like Cat. So I think this is going to be a high total scoring game. And model does suggest to bet it with a total at 226.5, 3 points over. I would lean the over in 223.5. Just as a note, if it says the play, it would be like an official the bet, and if it's lean, it means the model kind of likes it, but I wouldn't recommend placing a bet on it. Atlanta versus Houston. Model has this projected at a 7-point win for Houston, so lean Hawks plus 8.5. The Hawks are just one of those teams that play significantly better on the road. Houston hasn't necessarily been playing great at home. In terms of injuries, nothing too significant here. Trae Young's looking like he's going to play, but again, Atlanta's going to be missing Jalen Johnson for the rest of the season. Clint Capella's going to be out for quite a long time. Houston looking fully healthy, but I still think with Trae Young playing on the road, and he has the ability to keep these games close. Houston doesn't play necessarily as good at home as they do on the road. Atlanta plays significantly better on the road, the best team in the conference in terms of how much better they play on the road. Plus, they're a team that steps up against top 5 teams. That's who they play against the best. I think they can step up here and stay within this spread total. In terms of total, model has it at 232, so I would say a slight lean to the under. But I would likely assume that if the under hits, that the spread probably covers for Houston, because I think most of the time, if an under hits when Atlanta's playing the game, it's when they put up a dud. But yeah, slightly into Hawks plus 8.5 and slightly into under 234. Heading on to the next game, we have Memphis at Utah. Utah, again, one of the worst teams in college basketball, if not the worst team right now. Model has the Grizzlies winning this game by 14. This will definitely be a bet on the Grizzlies side. You never really know what you're going to get with the Jazz, but again, Grizzlies, when they play on the road, they play maybe a little bit worse, but they actually play they have a pretty solid away score. They play a bit worse than they do at home, but it's kind of negligible. They're a pretty solid road team. Utah, on the other side, really struggles at home. They have a negative home advantage, so they actually play worse when playing at home. So that's always a concern. But yeah, Utah, I think they're just full tank mode at this point. I don't think there's anything really going to save this season. Memphis is going to be relatively healthy for this game. I'm not sure if we're going to get Ja, but Utah is going to likely be without Laurie, no John Collins. And that's basically most of their team. Can't really trust this team here. And Grizzlies still kind of fighting to stay at the top of their conference. So give me Memphis minus 10. That would be a bet. Cleveland versus Portland. This feels very not sharp. Feels very square to bet Cavs on the road against a Portland team that can sometimes really show up and win and beat these teams. But that being said, model has this as a 9.5-point win for the Cavs. I think after they got a couple losses out of the way, it seems like they're locking back in. Both these teams played one day ago. Cleveland, after 4 losses in a row, which was insane after their massive win streak, they finally got another road win against Utah. I think they're going to be locked in for this game. Portland is kind of going the opposite. They had a 4-win streak and then lost again to Boston. I think this is a spot here where Cleveland has a good chance to roll this Portland team. In terms of injuries, nothing seems too clear. Cleveland looks like they're going to be completely healthy. Portland's still obviously going to be without Robert Williams and DeAndre Ayton. Jeremy Grant questionable, but right knee tendonitis does sound like he's likely not going to play. So I think Cleveland's going to have a lot of advantage in the paint here. So yeah, give me Cleveland minus 6.5. Obviously projected to win by 10 points. Total wise, I have it projected at 233. Line is 234, so very slightly into the under. And to finish us off for today, we have the Kings versus OKC. Again, very square bet here, but you could argue this is a play/lean. Model has OKC winning this game by 12.5. The Kings haven't been very good at covering at home, and now they're on a back-to-back against the best team in college basketball. I need to stop saying college basketball. The best team in basketball. I guess you could debate, but I don't even think it's debatable. I think OKC is very clearly the number 1 team right now. OKC has just been rolling. They only had a very small win over the Clippers, only putting up 103 points, but the Kings' defense is not nearly as good as the Clippers' defense. The Clippers have been one of the best teams in the last 10 games. But before that, beat Philadelphia by 33, Charlotte by 34, Milwaukee by 16, Detroit by 6, Boston by 6. Obviously, they don't necessarily cover that often, but they've been beating teams by more than 10. Teams much better than Sacramento. Sacramento, they just dropped 3 home games in a row. It's gonna be their 3rd game in 4 days. Never necessarily a good spot to back a team, especially after they just put up only 95 points against Boston, 108 against Milwaukee, Now they're playing one of the most aggressive defenses. I think they're going to be really tired, and OKC is just going to bully the shit out of them. Injury-wise, obviously, OKC is still going to be without Jalen Williams. The only other significant injury, Chet, is questionable. I think he will play, hopefully. He tends to play with his hip strain every other game, but Kings are going to be likely without Malik Monk. It is illness, so we're not necessarily sure if he's going to play. But both teams should be relatively healthy for this game. But yeah, I think OKC is just a way better team here. Bottle has this at 12.5. Line is minus 10 or minus 9.5. Yeah, give me Thunder. In terms of official, I'll say this is a bet. And yeah, that's everything for the first day of NBA. I'm definitely gonna improve the slides. I just wanted to have something out there, just to get a video out. In terms of analysis and whatnot, I'm also gonna improve. I'm just kind of testing the waters here to see how the model performs. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I will see you guys all tomorrow. And yeah, I'll try to get these videos up every day, if not every other day, depending on how I'm feeling about the slate or whatever. Because it is quite a lot of extra effort right now, just given my current circumstances on top of college basketball. But definitely once college basketball ends, it will be fully NBA and baseball. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow.